We're back here in the office, and the question I get asked more often than not, other than how do you get gigs or what's your pricing, is how did you afford all of the equipment that you have? And I get that question all the time, and I don't answer it rarely just because I'm not necessarily ashamed of how I went about getting all this gear. But it just wasn't a good method to start a business out on. We'll backtrack things up. I grew up in a single family, 2-kid household. My mom worked very hard to get everything that she had for us, and the food. I never went without a meal. I always had clothes. We always had a place to live, but we didn't have a lot of disposable income. So most of you would call it poor, as would I. We were just broke. We were broke. That's just how it was. Moving the story forward, whenever I left home to go to college, the first couple of weeks, you've got these random people out on campus, and they're giving away pizzas, and the only thing you got to do is sign up for a credit card. And I, of course, said, you know what? Why not? Signed up for a credit card, got said credit card in, and just bought a whole bunch of unnecessary shit that I didn't need because I was young, I was dumb, and I was still broke. Even in college, I had a job, couldn't work much, didn't pay much, and I wanted to be able to keep up with all the college honeys, right? So the only way to do that was to buy crap on credit cards. Well, whenever the problem with credit cards is just because you buy something and you don't have to pay for it immediately, eventually you've got to start paying. And when that time came around, I did not have the money that it took to make those payments. That card went to collection, and my credit score took a dump, took a big dump. And it was a big problem. It was a huge problem. Whenever I moved back home from college, things, I wasn't paying my bills. I wasn't making smart financial decisions. And I was still DJing, though. I wanted to be a DJ. My first controller that I bought on a credit card. And I decided that I wanted to try to expand the business and buy some speakers and some lights and stuff like that. And I didn't have the money for it, but I saw my girlfriend at the time, my now wife, I saw something back in her wallet that said Discover on it, and I said, hey, if I pay you back, would you let me use your card to buy some gear? And I don't know why she said yes, but she did. And that kind of got things kicked off to where we are now. I bought a lot of equipment on credit cards, but the problem is, I never paid those credit cards off every month. That's in a world full of red roses, that's what it's supposed to be. You're supposed to swipe your card. I don't have the cash for it today, but I'm getting paid on Monday. Swipe the card, no big deal. I'll earn some reward points. I'll pay it off at the end of the month, and that just didn't happen. I continued to make minimum monthly payments. Eventually, whenever I decided things were going to get serious, I need to put my finances in orders. I started paying my bills on time, and then I started getting credit card offers in the mail as well. And I made some stupid mistakes, and I took what was one credit card, and that probably turned into 7 or 8 credit cards, or you saw the opener. And I had all in all, I had a credit line probably somewhere around $100,000 spread between all the credit cards. The problem is the interest rate on those cards was not great. It was a very, very low interest rate of 29%. And because I was making my monthly payments, they saw me as the perfect customer. Go out, rack up a bunch of debt, make your payments on time. I've never, since that initial credit card, I've never had anything go to collections. I've never defaulted. It's set up on auto pay. I'm the perfect customer, living above my means in the credit world. And I'm making these monthly payments. Things aren't right. I'm never getting ahead. And it wasn't until about 4 years ago that I found my CPA, and we sat down, had a conversation, and I said, I need to do something because what I'm doing right now is not working. It's just not. And he agreed, and he saw the numbers, and he saw the assets, and I think he might have had smoke coming out of his ears for that first meeting that we had, because I probably, between all of the credit cards all together, I had $60,000 of high interest debt, of 29% interest. I'm only making the minimum monthly payment, which is around, for that much, it was around maybe $1,300 a month. So I'm paying it per year. I'm paying, right at about $14,000 in minimum payments. And my balance at the first of the year is actually higher than it was at the end of the year, just because it's not quite enough to move the chains. So what he advised me to do is, he said, John, we need to get your finances in order. And the first thing that we need to do is, you've got all this gear in your shop. Where's your inventory list? Where's your asset list? If you don't have an asset list that you can take to a bank and show them what you have going on, you don't have anything. So I did just that. We set up inventory, and we went through every piece of gear in this shop. Come to find out, I got about $500,000 in assets, and I need about $60,000 to get out of debt. From a banker's perspective, from a financial perspective, it makes sense for me to, it makes good financial sense for me to go into a bank and ask for money and them think that I'm a good candidate, because, again, my assets are way up here. The debt that I need to cover is way down here. And I've got a great history of paying my bills on time. The only problem is, when I was paying my bills on time, it wasn't moving the mark. So what we ended up doing was, we ended up going to the bank and getting a business loan to cover my debts. And I advise anyone watching this video, the best way to get ahead in business is to not set yourself up behind the 8 ball. The only problem with that is if you're starting a business, you can get money from one of 3 ways. It's going to be getting money from friends and family. I don't know about you guys, but I don't have friends or family that's just willing or able to lend me $10, $15, $30,000. It's just not going to happen. The second option is to go to a bank and get funding that way. The only problem is, when you're starting a business, you don't have a lot of collateral to bring to the table, or in my case, at the time, whenever I started this business, I didn't have any money. I didn't have good credit. So that was out for me as well. The last option for me was credit cards. So I did what I had to do because I thought it was a good idea. Thank God it has all worked out, because had it not worked out, I'd be in a lot of trouble right now financially. And really, now that the pandemic's here and it's affecting all of our businesses, if I was in that situation, let's just say 4 years ago, if a pandemic hit, I have no doubt that this business would not exist. It just couldn't. I would be bankrupt, because I was making, $1,100, $1,200, $1,300 in payments per month, and it wasn't moving any balances. That was just to cover that. But on top of, now I've got an office, and now I've got payroll. I wasn't paying myself at the time. I was just trying to cover my cost. And it wasn't a smart way to do business, but it was how I did business. And I'm thankful that I have that lesson, that hard lesson. But at the same time, I sit here and think of how far I actually set myself back with having, all those years of paying these high interest credit card payments and not moving the chains. So what you guys need to do, if you were in a position like me, where you really have jacked up your finances, you need to find a good financial advisor, a CPA, someone who can understand and learn about your business and learn about your situation and find out where you want to go and be able to explain to you how you want to get there. My CPA was able to do that for me, and coming up maybe in next week or the week after, I'm going to sit down and talk with him one-on-one, and kind of give you guys a breakdown of what a good CPA can do and, what my CPA did for me. But that's another story for another day. I will say that I'm not proud of what I did to start my business. I'm not proud of it at all. I remember going to look at getting financed for a house with my now wife, and she knew that I wasn't doing great financially. We were doing okay enough for me to go look at a house, but she knew that I had some past credit problems. She saw the creditor calling me on the phone and me hanging up. She knew. But I don't think we both got a good understanding of that until I had my credit score ran, and it came back as a 399 credit score. And I don't know if you know anything about credit, but I think they give you 300 just for having a social security number. It was that bad. But what getting a loan has allowed me to do is to move all of my bad personal debt, and I'm not even going to say bad debt because I wasn't behind on any of it, but what it's allowed me to do is take all of that debt, get it out of my personal name, because they weren't credit cards that had Crown Entertainment on the front of them. They were credit cards that had my name on them, so they were in my name. My personal social security number, everything was attached to it. What getting a loan has allowed me to do is to get all of that debt out of my name into the business's name, because the business owns all of the equipment. I don't really own anything. I own the business, but the business owns the equipment. So right now I've got a bunch of credit cards that have a zero balance, and it's going to stay that way because now I've built a relationship with my bank. I've got such a good relationship with my bank, and I'm not going to say it's something that's crazy. As you start dealing with banks, you'll gain some camaraderie with whoever it is you're dealing with. But I need a new trailer, and this is current. I need a new trailer, and I sent my banker a text that said, "Hey, I need a trailer. What do I need to do to be able to finance it through you guys?" And he knows my banking history with them. He said, "Cut the check, and we'll make sure that the money's in your account on Monday, and you can come by whenever and sign the paperwork." And that's just a testament to working with your bank, making sure that they know who you are and what you're doing, and they can see your growth. They can see you working in the community, all that stuff. But please don't do what I did. I know this for a fact. Some of you aren't going to listen to me. That's just the honesty of it. You're going to say, John built his business on credit cards. I can do it too. I had a situation that worked out extremely well. But make no mistake, 90% of small businesses close within the first 5 years. And it's because most of the time it's because of financial hardship. I was lucky and escaped my demise, but make no mistake, if I continue down that path, it doesn't make sense of how it can still keep going. It just can't. And I almost just got choked up talking about it because I saw whenever I went and sat down with my bank and got my bill taken care of or got the loan in place. That was a big day for my company. That meant from that day forward, in 5 years, I was going to have that loan paid off. And then in 5 years, if I owe no one nothing and I've got these assets, I can sell all this and move on if I wanted to. But right now, I'm a slave to the company because I still owe money on the gear that I have. Not saying that I don't enjoy my company, but it's really set me up for success. So, you know, this first loan goes okay. You know, maybe I want to buy a stage line, a SL 260 or 100. They know that I can pay my bills on time. They see the numbers of the money that we're making. They see the numbers and the assets that we have and what we can bring to the table. And if it makes good financial sense, there's not a reason why they wouldn't lend me the money. And it's an incredible feeling, knowing that you can essentially, you can do what you want to. It's a great feeling. I got all of that debt out of my personal name, put it in the business's name, and now, I'm gonna pull up my Credit Karma, and it's not a super accurate reading, but if any of you guys know Credit Karma, know it's pretty close to what the number actually is. So I started out, I'm gonna say probably 8 years ago. My credit score was a 399, and today my credit score, I don't even know if you're going to be able to see that. Credit score right now is an 820. It's crazy. Now, the one thing that I will say is I do have all of these credit cards with empty balances, and I'm going to leave them open. And the reason why I'm going to leave them open, if something happens on a weekend and I need a large sum of money right now, I can swipe my card and then I can worry about the financing from the bank later. I know that I have a good rapport with my bank. I know in most situations they will loan me the money on whatever I need. But having those open accounts and that backup in case a catastrophic failure happens is nice. Is it likely that I will do that? Not at all. But if I close those accounts, it dings my credit score, and credit means a lot in business. And you'll find that out as you keep going. So what I'm telling you to do is if you're in the same situation I was, in which I imagine that there may be quite a few people that are, if you're in that situation, you need a good CPA who understands you and your goals and your finances, and be completely honest with them. Be transparent. Don't give them bits and pieces of information that you want to give them and leave some big stuff out. They'll find out eventually. They'll find out. But as long as they understand what you're doing and what you're trying to do and where you're trying to go, I do believe a good CPA can get you out of some situations that you might find yourself in. And I will forever be grateful for my CPA, who happens to be a DJ as well. So he understands the business and he gets it. And I'm gonna have him on, and we'll talk about that more in the future. But that's it. That's how I started my business. Don't do what I did. It will take you years to recover, and you will not sleep at night. But right now, we're doing okay, and I have no problems falling asleep at nighttime, so I'll call that a win. Yeah, I'll call that a win. All right. Until next time, guys, you know who it is, djwoopig. If this helped you, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, ring the bell, all that jazz. I feel like I say that almost too much, but a lot of the people that are watching these videos aren't subscribed. I'd love to have you on board. We talk about a lot of different things over here, mostly DJ music industry related, but, you know, topics like this could go across any span. You know, this is just good, solid business advice from someone who's been there, done that. Now I sound like my mom. I'll see you later. Bye.